Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our evening edition of Big Brother 23 live feed spoilers. This is day 4. We are on the other side of the Power of Veto competition. Buckle up, that is what I'm going to say before we even spoil the actual winner of the veto.
Spoilers ahead. I'm sure you guys know if you're here at the channel, you know what you're getting with us. We are here to tell you who won the veto. And I guess a little bit of what the plan might be. Just keep in mind, again, that this is like Frenchie's HOH and things keep changing. And we don't really know where the person who won the veto, I almost said their name, is going to land.
Frenchie's plans are like sandcastles where he builds them up and they look kind of cool for a moment or at least interesting, but then someone comes and like blows part of it over and then he just builds somewhere else and you don't understand what he's doing anymore.
The person who's blowing it over is Derek X. He has won the veto.
With that,
what's happening?
This is the Derek X dance.
Yeah.
All right, there's the X for Derek X. Okay, well, hit that subscribe button before we get into all the glorious.
The X for Xavier.
Oh, Xavier hugs from yesterday. But yeah, we have so much good Big Brother 23 coverage coming your guys' way alongside Animal Kingdom, Power Book 3, Raising Kanan that's coming soon, The Bachelorette on Monday nights.
Animal Kingdom tomorrow. I know we keep talking about it in these updates, and it's because it is such a good show. And if you're not watching, you need to be watching. It is such a good show. Also, follow us over on Instagram at Matt and Jess TV. We got some cool stuff up there. After 2 months, 2 months of waiting for furniture to be delivered, it was delivered today. So we got some pictures up over there.
It's a pretty glorious day, and not even just because of the Derek X veto win, but I've said this before, and I will say this again until I'm like blue in the face and passing out, but I am team drama and entertainment more than any other house guest. I will root for a lot of people from start to finish, but the winner in Derek X winning the Power of Veto is all of us, because now we get to see Frenchie scramble for another couple of days now that Derek X, who was sort of the easy person for people to sort of point towards as the problem, like now he is safe.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because it has seemed that when Frenchie came in, he wanted to target some of the more athletic men. Then, all these men started scrambling. We had Brent go up there, try to smooth things out. Christian won a safety. Travis is getting nervous. Derek X just seemed like the fall guy. He is the scapegoat of it all, where it's kind of like, oh, well, it's actually this guy. You should target this guy. And it seemed like Frenchie was looking at possibly backdooring Derek X, and now he's won the veto.
Yeah, this is X'd out. It cannot happen anymore. Derek X is... This was all very, very fun to me. But you know who's a real party pooper in all of this? Who's out to spoil our good time? Brent.
Listen, when he first went and talked to Frenchie and basically talked himself right out of getting nominated, I was like, okay, this guy's kind of surprising me a little bit.
Yeah.
I thought that he was going to come in and just flirt his way till the end, and he was going to be a little bit, dull.
Yeah.
Then he did that, and I was like, okay, he's here to play a little bit. He's here to play a little bit. Now he's being really condescending towards Derek X, who has the veto and is sort of like, all of these problems are, your fault. You need to go fix things with Frenchie because, we got to make sure everything's going to be okay. And he's not being that nice to him, trying to force him to go fix what problem with Frenchie?
Yeah, he's just very much like, go talk to Frenchie, go do whatever. I don't know what impression this is, but go talk to Frenchie.
Yeah, it's kind of an impression of one of our best friends, Jason.
Okay, yeah, that's the problem. I haven't heard enough Brent yet. It was going to turn into Enzo in a moment if I kept it going, but he is trying to order Derek X to do whatever he wants, and at first I sort of thought that Derek X was just totally rolling over and was allowing himself to get sort of just beaten down by this guy. But then, and this may quite possibly be my favorite Big Brother live feed moment of the day, Derek X looks at the camera after Brent isn't in the room and is like, this dude doesn't say anything new when I talk to him. What is wrong with him?
Yeah, Derek X is playing it at the best that he can. I mean, yeah, that could have easily turned into a fight if it was someone else, but just sort of like taking it in, paying attention to what he's saying, how he's saying it, and then actually talking with us, which is something that we love. We love it when the house guests are talking to the live feeders and they recognize that we're actually here with them.
I'm going to make a comparison here. I'm not saying this is going to work out anywhere near as well for Derek X in the game, but back all the way in Big Brother 14, I remember a certain Ian Terry who felt very ostracized early on, but thanks to a very fortunate win and due to a twist that season, he ended up being all right. Yep. Big Brother 17, I think Steve was kind of not in a great spot, and then Steve won that very first veto.
Yeah.
Could Derek X go from being zero in the house to the hero of the house?
Exactly. And especially with the position that he's kind of in here of being like the bro scapegoat.
Yeah.
Because they all seem to be quite worried. And Brent, I'm kind of surprised that he's acting this way because he did work things out with Frenchie in such a way that I don't think he's going to be targeted. So I'm not exactly sure like why he's pushing as hard as he is. He doesn't really need to right now.
I don't know if he's either just super paranoid or he thinks that on some level Frenchie may be telling Derek X to just keep the nominations the same. Maybe he thinks that would lead to Alyssa being targeted, though we know we said earlier in the day that Frenchie apparently now kind of wants Kylan to go.
Yeah, I mean, Derek X is now in an interesting spot because he does seem to be sort of the scapegoat of all the bros, but because he has the veto and he knows that he's safe, he can go and sort of talk to Frenchie and be like, what is it that you want? And then sort of talk his way into being able to take Kylan off the block.
Yes, because I think that's what Derek X wants to do, and we watched him that very first night on the feeds. Kylan and Derek X were kind of just walking around from room to room.
Yeah.
It felt like, oh, these two guys are gonna be friends, and it made me happy. I can't see a world where Derek X doesn't want to do that unless he just gets like really pushed and or threatened into not using the veto.
Yeah, and we just watched Brent try to roll over him, and yeah, he sat there and just listened and took it. But once he spoke to us at the camp with the cameras, like, I mean, Derek X strikes me as someone who may end up just doing what he wants.
I hope that's the case. This is your second lease on life, Derek. I'm just so happy to actually see more of him on the live feeds because he was basically like a ghost for days.
Yeah, and that's what's so interesting about this whole thing where it's like, oh, you have a second lease on life. We have barely seen you. He hasn't really done anything wrong.
Yeah, his biggest mistake is talking to some guys
having friendship.
Who proceeded to then throw him under the bus because they were afraid of getting in danger themselves.
Oh my God.
What?
No, I'm really glad that he ended up winning, and I do hope that he decides to save Kylan. Kylan is someone that we both really like a lot.
Okay, now comes the other really fun part of all of this. Putting on our thinking caps here if we are Frenchie, and what that means he is going to do, because here's what I think Frenchie's going to put on a thinking cap, then he's going to take it off, and then he's going to put on a different thinking cap.
Depending on who he's talking to, yes, that will continue to happen. That's why we were kind of like, okay, maybe we were going to wait a little bit longer to come on here and talk to you guys and see who Frenchie was really going to be targeting. But let's be honest.
Yeah.
He is going to change his mind 100 times tonight. So we're just like, we're going to come on and talk to you guys now with what we know. Because it seems like the obvious choice would be for him to target Travis.
And that's, I think, what most of BB Twitter wants. Like, personally, after that Brent Derek X conversation, I would rather Brent go on the block and be evicted. I don't think that's going to happen.
No, but I mean, every Big Brother house needs a villain, don't they?
I guess so. I like my villains to be a little bit less, which is what I feel about Brent at the moment. But, you know, Travis seems like an obvious choice if he does want to get rid of a strong...
Coco's leaving me.
Well, goodbye, Coco. That's fine. And there was a conversation between Fritchie, Sarah Beth, and Claire, and he didn't say Travis's name as far as I heard, but he did sort of lean into the idea of sort of saying that he needs to have the numbers to make sure this person goes, and it feels to me like he's probably talking about Travis.
I think that it really does depend on what Frenchie wants to do. Because if he really does want Kylan gone, I mean, he may really try to work Derek X over into not using that veto. I mean, this is going to really suck.
It really, really is.
Because then, I mean, Derek X is in a really tough spot with that because Kylan is someone who will be a number for him. And we've seen before teams that are sort of partnered up with each other and then they let their partner go thinking that it will help their game and then they end up going out like right after them. But if he decides to do what Frenchie might want, which is to keep Kylan on the block, then does he actually earn any real trust with Frenchie? Probably not. Like, he's just in a tough spot.
Once again, as a member of Team Mess, here is what I actually want to see happen.
Team Mess is better than Lord Garbage from last year that everybody hated.
I retired Lord Garbage. I got the memo from all the comments, but
Messy Matt.
Messy. That sounds nice. Messy Matt.
Does it sound nice?
It's better than Lord Garbage, but what?
Everything's better than Lord Garbage.
Yes, this is true. This is true. Okay, what Messy Matt apparently wants here is for a conversation between Frenchie and Derek X to happen, where Frenchie tells Derek X that he wants to see Kylan go. Yeah. Then I want to see Derek X not only save Kylan, but tell Kylan, oh, by the way, Frenchie wanted you to stay on the block and evict you. That way, if Kylan gets HOH next time, he's got a very clear target.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the thing about it, of course, is that Frenchie can't play next week, right? So if you're gonna save your ally, you might as well save your ally. What is Frenchie gonna do next week?
Here's what we quote-unquote know for sure, and I say that because this is coming from Frenchie, a very unreliable narrator, I should say. He told Sarah Beth and Claire that both of them were safe, and that may ease the concerns of a lot of people, myself included, that Claire could be a possible replacement nominee.
Yeah, there was a lot of worry about that. And I mean, let's be honest, she's so far a really good player. She's very smart. She's making smart alliances. She's keeping low right now, which is good considering that she's team captain, so she's won. Yeah. So people know that she can win stuff. She's social, she's nice, she's doing a really good job. I mean, would it be a bad idea for him to get rid of someone like Claire? I mean, she's good at this game.
Yeah, she's good at the game. And if you could get enough people on board, I would more than understand the move. If someone picked Claire to win, I wouldn't be happy about it. But...
No, I wouldn't be happy about it either. I really want to see her play the game longer than 5 days.
I know. And it's all, I mean, Frenchie's also said he doesn't want Alyssa to be evicted, but here's the funniest thing, and I think we even mentioned this earlier, that if Frenchie gets his wish, and if it is truly his wish that nominations stay the same, once again, it's Frenchie, who knows?
Who knows?
Alyssa probably ends up being evicted over Kylan.
I know, that's the thing. I mean, Frenchie doesn't really have that much control.
No.
Unless he's really influential, which he just kind of isn't. Like, yeah, he's great at putting together giant alliances, but I mean, this is Big Brother. If someone comes and they're like, hey, do you want to be in an alliance with me? You just say yes, and roll along with it. It doesn't mean that you actually are.
Can we spend a second about Christian here? Mm-hmm. This tiny Christian update at the very end of this, right before we came on, he talked a little bit to Derek X, and he was basically, not like shoving him into saving Alyssa, but trying to encourage him to save Alyssa. And it's sort of like, out of all of the grief and all of the nonsense that we have thrown at Frenchie this week, and 99% of it has been much deserved, he wasn't really that wrong for being worried about Alyssa and Christian.
I know, but the problem here is it is sort of like what happened with Amber. her biggest downfall is that she's a beautiful girl.
Like, it might not...
And that's it, right? Like, there's not a ton that's really happening outside of that. That she's a beautiful girl, and that there are men in the house that are going to be interested in her, and she shouldn't have to go home for that. And I understand that Christian can't go on the block and he can't go home, but, like, get rid of him down the road.
Yeah.
Like, why does it have to be Alyssa's fault that she's got to go down because she's attractive and cool to be around?
I think that is the unfortunate crummy part about where Alyssa is in the game. And, you know, who knows about the showman stuff? Like, weeks down the road, you stay in there a long time. You don't know how you're going to feel about people or any of that. But
it's true. She could end up being interested in him, but it's, you know, it is early.
Yes. The only thing that should be dangerous in anyone's mind right now is that the two of them are on the same team, and that's more or less all it is. But Christian going and saying stuff like this, you're not helping your perception here, buddy.
Oh, that was out the door the minute that he had a choice to pick her for the team. I mean, it was the minute he saw her picture come up, his face just lit up. Like,
You're not wrong.
No, he's been very transparent from the start.
He really, really has been. But all right, we'll wrap everything up here. I think we're in for a eventful night.
Yep.
Fingers crossed. What do you guys think Derek X should do? And beyond that, let's say he does use the veto on Kylan. Yeah. What do you think Frenchie is going to do? Yeah. Let us know. And thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button. We'll see you here next time.